Welcome to the Frederica Academy Nights Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick. Brought to you by St. Simon Seafood, Jenkins Nissan, The Emerald Princess, Apple Care and Media Care, Misty's Element Massage, and by Catch 228. Now here is the voice of the Frederica Academy Nights, John Wetzler.
Well, welcome to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show, the second edition. Here live, sort of live. We're live at Catch 228 in Redford Village. We're here with head coach Brandon Derrick of the Frederica Academy Nights on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm John Wetzler on location at Catch 228, like I said, where we'll be here each and every Thursday. We are a little bit later today because we had a middle school game, which we just tied. It was a great game, and playing Bullock. And this segment of the Brandon Derrick Coach Show is sponsored by Emerald Princess, by Apple Care Immediate Care, by St. Simon Seafood, by Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, and Catch 228, our host. And now joining us is head coach Brandon Derrick of the Frederica Academy Nights. Hello, Coach Derrick.
How are you, John?
Good, thank you. We just had a great game for middle schoolers. They tied Bullock Academy.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch my breath, get the sweat off of me. It was a hot one out there, and we ended up tying 22-22. The kids played really hard.
Yeah, it was exciting. So, Coach, we got a game under our belt now already, and we've got a game to look forward to. Maybe we could start off, talk a little bit about recapping what happened last Friday night. It was an exciting game. We played up there at St. Andrews, played the Lions, and we ended up winning 35-0 and dominated, shut them out on defense. It was a great game. What did the coaches take away from it?
Well, one, it's always good to get a win under your belt right off the bat. The kids come out, took care of business right off the bat, opened the kickoff. Hollis ran the kickoff back. And kind of set the tone immediately. I think we were ahead 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and well in control of the game. I thought our guys played pretty well, both offensively and defensively. There were some things we had to correct this week, some blocking assignments, a few other things that we were looking at defensively, reading our keys a little bit better, some containment issues that we got our eyes inside and tried to play the play instead of reading the keys and doing a few things. But overall, it was a good win for us. Start off with a 35-0 victory, but we can there's always room for improvement week to week, and that's what we're focusing on right now. We're going to have a pretty tough opponent coming up this week with Tift area, so it's going to be interesting to see how much we've gained from the first week to the second week. You kind of get out the jumping off sides, the adrenaline, all that kind of stuff in game one. You try to get all that out and work it out of your system, and then you kind of settle down in the game mode and get ready to go. And I hope that's what we're able to do this week.
Well, a lot of us had questions about how are we going to reload from last year and who's going to step up and get out there. And it was clear to everybody that Hollisville can shoulder the burden there as far as giving him the ball. He can make things happen.
Yeah, Hollis has he's special talent. He, I think he had 4 touchdowns Friday night, 1 kickoff return, 1 punt return, and then 2 snaps from the line of scrimmage. I think he ended up carrying the ball 6 times for 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had another punt called back. That would have been his 5th touchdown. I think offensively we snapped the ball 31 times and averaged 200, and we had a total of 282 yards. So it was like 9.25 yards per play. That was pretty good offensively for us. And, Brandon Blake did a good job. I thought our front line did pretty well at times. And sometimes we had a few mental breakdowns, but for the most part they handled the pressure and everything pretty well.
Well, this is the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. We talked about Hollis, obviously, and you talked a little bit about Brandon Blake. He's, of course, a leader on defense, but he ran the ball well on offense. He had broke off a big old touchdown there too, didn't he?
Yeah, he had 4 carries and about 64 yards, I think, and one of those was a 37 or 40-yard scamper there. He's kind of our leader on defense. That Mike linebacker session, him and Drew Brunson on defense are kind of our catalyst out there, and they do a real good job. He also had 8 solo tackles. One was for a loss, had 1 sack. You know, he played real well Friday night.
Yeah, Ty Gardner was all over the place too. You know, on the defensive line there, he was containing and tracking people down and flying around. I noticed the defensive line looked great.
Yeah, they did a good job. They had a few things we worked on this week, getting good separation from the offensive line. I think I've harped on that all week. Ty had 2 sacks in the game. Did a good job with his pursuit and keeping good angles. And that's what we've really been working on here lately is our angles and our pursuit on defense, not getting too far upfield, but knowing when to turn and get a good angle. And they did a pretty good job Friday night. We
were noticing up in the box there that, that they had a quarterback who could throw, but he just couldn't throw it very accurately. And they got some pretty good separation on us defensively when they were playing offense. They got some, on a few plays, they got some pretty good separation on us.
That's a young corner. That's a freshman, first time playing.
Yeah.
We had him out there.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Eyes in the backfield. That's what I was trying to tell him. Don't get your eyes in the backfield.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on your guy. Read your keys. A couple times we did get over the top as a safety. Didn't get over the top in the motion. We went too flat, and then the guy was outrunning us, and we were trying to catch up. But yeah, it's like you said, they had guys behind us. We didn't do a very good job at times keeping in front of us and turning our hips and running. I thought we kept in our back pedal too much. Something we've addressed this week and talked about it quite frequently because I want to see Tip Derrick is going to do the same thing. They're going to isolate us one-on-ones on the outside, and we're going to have to be able to play out there.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was getting at is we can use that learning tool now of all of those plays and all those examples that they can, each one of those guys that's got an assignment can learn from that. And, I'm sure that they watch the film just like every other team, Tift area does, and they're going to be trying to, hit us, I guess, with some passing plays, I would imagine.
Yeah, I expect to see them try to isolate us out there on the corner and try to throw it deep. Don't be surprised. I think the last game against Georgia Christian, they threw the fade route 10 times. So I'm expecting them to throw it deep 10 times or more against us. It did expose us, but like I said, we go in, watch film. That's corrections we've got to make. As a coaching staff and as kids, we're sitting down there showing them they got to be willing to make those changes. And they've done a pretty good job this week of preparing for it. We're going to see a lot of different formations and a lot of different stuff being thrown at us this week by Tiff. They do a lot of different things. We're going to have to be sharp and on the ball. And they've done a pretty good job this week in practice.
Well, how did you feel about Nick Harrison, his first start? We thought he delivered the ball where it needed to be. He had a couple little times where it seemed like he got a little flustered in the pocket, but I think he learned. I remember he had that interception, but then the next time he was flushed, you could tell he was thinking about throwing it, trying to hurry it up, and he remembered what happened before. It seemed like he already learned from that. Is that what you saw in the film?
Nick's a fast learner. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. He made 1 or 2 Friday night, but he was 6 for 9 for 67, 68 yards. So I suspect he'll get a lot better as time goes on, and he'll continue to progress, and we'll be able to stretch the field, and we're going to have to throw the football.
Well, we'll pick back up on that after the break, and more to come with the Coach Brandon Derrick Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, we're going to take a word from our sponsors.
The Emerald Princess Casino is celebrating 25 years with a special $25 gift for you. Wow, 25 years. Celebrate with this special $25 offer on our Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening cruises now through December. Limited one $25 value offer per person per cruise. Call for details. For reservations, call 800-842-0115 or visit emeraldprincesscasino.com. Call for offer limitations. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
I'm Jenkins Nissan.
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 I am Jenkins Nissan.
I'm Donnie Jenkins. We're all Jenkins Nissan, and together we want to show you just how easy buying and servicing your car should be. So please, stop by and experience the Jenkins Nissan difference. Look for the red and white Nissan tent at the corner of Chapel Crossing Road and the Spur, or visit us online at JenkinsNissanofBrunswick.com.
Get affordable health care when you need it. At AppleCare Immediate Care, our team of compassionate healthcare providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in healthcare. Located at 1111 Glencoe Parkway, AppleCare is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. AppleCare welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook.
Well, welcome back to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick. Thank you on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm John Wetzler on location at Catch 228 in Redford Village on St. Simon's Island. This segment of the show is brought to you by Emerald Princess, Jenkins Nissan, and AppleCare Immediate Care. Well, Coach, we were talking a little bit about Harrison, Nick Harrison, the quarterback, who he did a great job. I think learning and putting the ball where it needed to be. I also noticed that he's really got an arm. Even though we didn't do a lot of passing, what we did do, it was obvious to me that he can get the ball out there.
Yeah, he's accurate. He's plays baseball. He's got a strong arm. He's a really smart kid. He studies the game. I've noticed that about him a lot. He's going to come in and ask questions during the day while we're at school and say, Coach, did you see this? Did you see that? What are we looking at here? He's going to ask questions. He wants to know what's going to get us in a good situation. I think we talked a little bit about it last week. We got to make sure that he's got to make sure that he manages the game and puts us in good situations. I don't want anybody, I said that the other night about being a game manager. He's not so much as like an Alabama quarterback. I wish, we could have that power running game. We'd go up there and dominate people with his zone. But Nick's going to have to get us in good situations. He's going to have to make quick reads out of our zone read stuff that we do. We didn't see a whole lot of it last week, but this week, if linebackers are vacating and taking the run, he's going to have to throw balls in behind it. It's going to be one of those kind of quick passing games that we've implemented from kind of the Auburn and all these fast-paced offenses. But with the number of kids we got, we can't do a fast-paced offense. We've got to use the clock wisely and put ourselves in good situations.
Yeah, it's really a chess match for us that it is for everybody, but you've got a compounded chess match in that you've got, so much fewer players than a lot of these teams that we're going to be facing in the highest classification of the GISA this year. And Tift area is one of those teams that's going to have a lot more depth than us, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They're going to come in with about 35 to 40 kids, and the majority of them is juniors and seniors. They're very experienced. They've been playing since they were freshmen and sophomores, and so we're going to see a very experienced football team out of Tift area tomorrow night, and it's going to be interesting to see how we handle it because Friday night we did a good job of making rotations on defense. I don't know if you noticed it much, but I was rolling 4 or 5 guys about every 3 plays on defense, trying to keep our linemen kind of getting breath. And then I finally started thinking, okay, am I wearing them out too much by running them on off the field? So I just let them stay out there and play some. And so we kind of try to scale it back and get the kids to talk to me a little bit and tell me about what's going on. And they worked real well with it.
Yeah, so you just got to communicate with them and really kind of collaborate with you guys to sort of let us know, what's going on, where you at, and you about to fall out, and keep going.
We play so many guys both ways. I think it's funny when we yell first offense, and then we go to when we're a team, we yell first O. They run out there, and then we yell first D. And I think there's might be maybe 2 people that are different. So you got 9 guys or 8 guys most of the time that they don't leave the field. Our biggest challenge was this week was, okay, where can we get Hollis off the field every now and then?
Yeah.
That, special teams wise, you hate to take him off anything return wise because he has the ability to break one. And then, but then on coverage wise, he's one of our faster guys on coverage. So we're trying to figure out ways to get him off the field with a couple other guys to keep him fresh.
Yeah. I imagine by this time in the game, we've had a chance to thoroughly review Tift area. They played last week, I take it?
Yes.
So, talking zone-wise in different regions, let me just say this, though, before I finish my long question. You're listening to the Brandon Derrick Coach Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. But what I was asking is, you had a chance to kind of look at, how we're going to match up our defensive line against their offensive line, our offensive line against their defensive line. What are you seeing as far as challenges that are going to be going on tomorrow night?
Offensively, for us, we're going to have to be able to handle the slanting and the pressure. They blitz a lot and they slant. They're very physical. They're very fast to the ball. They get 11 guys to the ball, so we're going to have to stay on blocks up front offensively. It's not going to be one of those we can hit them, and then we get a guy through the line. It's going to be we're going to have to maintain the blocks. Again, it's going to be one of those things that Nick's got to find where the blitz is coming from, read it. Let's find out where we need to go. If we need to check, get out of it, move. Coach Cannon's going to he's got a pretty good game plan of looking at that. We broke down film a bunch this week to see what they do with certain sets, if they have tendencies. We're trying to figure that out, and I think we got a pretty good feel for it. Defensively, they run a lot of different sets. I told my guys today is let's make them drive it 80 yards. Every team in high school has a hard time trying to drive it 80 yards and punch it in.
Yeah.
So the goal is not to give up any big plays. Let's make them work to earn it. And, our goal is keep them in front of us, make the solid plays that we're supposed to make. If they get, they're going to guess right. It's a chess match out there. And they're going to guess right a couple times, and so are we. So, we just got to hold it and then recover in the next play, and then block it out. So our kids have done a pretty good job. They've done a good job scheme-wise because there's been a lot of stuff went into it this week. It's been a short week with Labor Day, and we brought them in on Monday. We broke down film. We went through our game plan with them, and they've been pretty focused.
That's great. Well, I know we've talked in the past about some of the different things that you've thought about doing and things that ended up working after Jamboree and all the preseason stuff, kind of sort of feeling it out. And one of the things that you talked about was you may run the same look, same play 4 times in a row, but Nick's got to learn to deliver the ball to 3-4 different people, and so you may continue to come up to the line of scrimmage with the same set, 3-4 different plays, and the ball's going 3-4 different places. So is that we didn't have to do that last week too much because the run game was so effective. We just broke off 50-yard run.
Right.
We really didn't create much of a demand for what I know that you've talked about we're capable of doing, and we may end up having to pull out of our bag of tricks Friday.
We've got our multiple read stuff in, and I think at that point, Nick's done a good job with it this week. I'm really impressed with him going against the scout team defense, seeing it. I do see us having to do that a lot this week. I don't see us lying down and being able to expose them with the run a whole lot. We're going to have to be probably 60-40 run pass this week, and that's pretty good percentage-wise for me when they're running. If we can run and throw in that percentage, but we're going to have to be effective doing that stuff, and we're going to have to catch that pass. We throw those little quick hot routes. We're going to have to catch them and get what we can get. We have to get, if it's 5 yards, let's get 5 yards. If it's 3 yards, let's get 3 yards. Talk to them about this. Let's get positive yards. Don't worry about breaking the big one. Let's just get positive yards.
Well, we will be right back again. You're listening to the Frederica Academy Coach Show with head coach Brandon Derrick. I'm John Wetzler on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Relax. Misty's Element Massage specializes in helping you do just that. Located at 138 Village Market on St. Simon's Island, Misty's Element Massage offers deep tissue massages, therapeutic massages, scrubs, creams, body wraps, and much more. The perfect gift for that special someone, not to mention sports massages for that aching muscle. Schedule your appointment today at 912-224-0198 or on the web at mistyselement.com.
Fresh local seafood on St. Simon's Island? St. Simon's Seafood, located at 2463 Demery Road in the shops at Demery Plaza next to Loco's, has everything a seafood lover could want. Wild Georgia shrimp, crab cakes, flounder, you name it, and St. Simon's Seafood has it. Seafood so fresh, it was swimming this morning. So stop into St. Simon's Seafood and check them out on Facebook. St. Simon's Seafood, the island's only fresh seafood market. Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island is your home for the best seafood around. Oysters, shrimp, fish, you name it. Not to mention your island home for NFL Sunday Ticket, Major League Baseball extra innings, college game day, and so much more. Catch 228 is also your home for the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick, and a proud Frederica Academy supporter. So stop on in any night of the week for the best time on St. Simon's and find us on Facebook. Go Knights!
Welcome back to the Frederica Academy Knights Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm John Wetzler on location at Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island. This segment is brought to you by Misty's Element Massage and by St. Simon's Seafood. Coach, we were kind of transitioning into talking about Tift area, and we were talking about, as far as on the line, how we match up, and what do you see out of what kind of standout players do they have that we're going to have to deal with?
Well, defensively, their defensive line is very aggressive, and their linebackers are very aggressive. With defenses that are aggressive, you've got to use that against them. So we're going to try to do as much as we can to offset that, make them play back a little bit and read. But they do a very good job defensively up front on their first and second level. Secondary is pretty solid. They move around, they change coverages. They're going to play cover 2 with a 4-3 look, and they'll play a 4-4 look with cover 3. So we're gonna see multiple things out of them. I feel like with us formationing, certain formations is going to make them get into certain defenses, and once we get that rolling, I think we'll have a much better idea of what we need to do and exploit on offense. Now, for us defensively, they got 2 really good running backs that they can carry the mail, and quarterback can throw it well. He's very mobile. He can get outside. He likes to throw first. We want to keep him contained. Hands up. We worked on that, batting the ball down, trying to get deflections, a few things. But we're going to have to do a good job. We're going to have to rely again, like I said last week, is our defensive front and our linebackers are the key to us being pretty successful. And last week, played a pretty good job, did a pretty good job up front defensively. We're going to do the same thing. We worked with our linebackers a little bit. Our outside linebackers was reading a key or 2 wrong, and we focused on that this week. And, of course, we can't get beat deep. We can't give up the big play. And they've got some kids that can go up. Number 21 and number 23 are pretty good-sized kids, I noticed, with some pretty good speed. 12 and number 5 are the running backs. They're just, they're pretty good. They get out on the field. They're tough. So we're going to try to, we've got to keep those guys hemmed up as much as possible. We've got to swarm to the football as a defensive unit, and we've got to tackle well.
Yeah, Tim, you kind of hinted at being able to read things and tendencies. Tendencies are from a defensive standpoint, that's the main thing that, distinguishes a good player from a great player, is being able to read, the tendencies of your opponent. I know when I was in high school, our linebacker, one of my friends, he said, I can tell every time you're going to get the football, because you come up and you grab your right, leg pad or something like that, and he would read what everybody would do, because people have a tendency to do those things. So from a defensive perspective, what kind of things do you guys do to help them, understand, from film and that sort of thing, to read people's tendencies?
Well, I'm a tendency guy. I watch a lot of film, like you said, mannerisms, sometimes give things away. Tift area, usually if they're under center, they're going to run trap. They're going to run an isolation play, or it's toss sweep. We've really worked on that this week. And our kids know that immediately. We're thinking we got to stop trap. And then everything else off that kind of channels. We really worked on that a bunch. We noticed in certain formations that they run a certain place. That they're only going to run. A lot of teams that we face get in certain formations and they run 2 or 3 plays. So we focus on stopping those 2 or 3 plays. If they beat us with something else, well, they did a good job. They schemed it up. Let's make them beat us on something that they're not used to doing.
Yeah.
And so for us, like I said, we study a lot of that. And what we noticed is that 34 for them, if he's in there, A lot of times he's pulling, leading. He's going to lead or he gets the ball if the quarterback's under center trap. So it's one of those things that we've been watching and looking at.
This is the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. So, what kind of things do you do? I know you were talking about you can run the same look and run 3, 4, 5 different options out of that look. So that kind of helps conceal tendencies. Is that one of the ideas you've got with so much going on, so many different options, with the Cherokee and Apache and different, and different things too that you're already doing where you got, 3 or 4 different, check down routes where you can give this. It's almost part of the strategy to give those tendencies so that they take the bait.
Yeah. With what we do on offense is if you're going to take one thing away, it opens up something else. We're a run, pass, read team. I know that sounds very weird, but we're reading the run and the pass at the same time according to what they're doing. If linebackers step up, take on the run, we're going to be dumping in behind them on a pass. We've got people that are going to be doing multiple things. We're also kind of running screens at the same time off the run play. So, and if they play way off, we've got a guy for a check down route. So, like I said, we've got a lot of things, and I've not seen it in a lot of places. You hear of it, you can see North Gwinnett and some of those big schools, 6A schools, and you can see Oregon and Missouri and a lot of those schools that's been doing it for a long time. See them doing that, and we've implemented it because it's almost like when you run the option, you're not going to block certain people because, 1, you may not have the ability to, but 2, whatever they do is wrong, and that's what we're trying to do. But we're trying to do it instead of just reading one guy, we're reading 3 or 4 guys at one time.
Yeah.
And that's where Nick has to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I think when I was playing in high school, it seemed like we had cookie cutter, plays, and this is what we did. Everything was more formal, and this is the play. And now you got so much more at such a younger level, even at the rec league. You got the kids. You got to make them think. You talked about these triggers. That they've got to look what the linebackers are doing to decide. What's going to happen, and all this has got to take place in a number of 2 or 3 seconds, or even less than that.
It's a split second.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you see that's so amazing when you watch some of these guys on Saturday. What they do, and it's hard for a high school kid sometimes to get that. So it's like you said, you start grooming them even in that middle school. We're doing that now. We haven't ran a whole lot of it, but we're working on implementing it. We practice it. You'll probably see it later on with some of the things that we do. That quick boom, linebackers flying, bang, we're going to throw it right in behind them.
Yeah, you can't compete now, because you got to think. I mean, even if you've got the only way you can play old school football anymore, where you just got to. A series of plays you call number 1, number 2, number 3 is if you've got the best talent on the field in every single area. Otherwise, you got to outthink them.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the thing. I've always made a living of adjusting. I know a lot of people in this business that they're going to run this offense. They don't care. This is what they're running. Me, I'm going. If I don't have the personnel to run a certain offense, I'm not going to line up and try to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to we're going to acclimate our kids to what we think is going to be successful. We do a wide variety of things. We teach it. Football's like teaching. You got to get out there and you got to teach it. It ain't yelling and screaming like people think. It's a lot of teaching that goes on out there. At the end of the day, after 2 hours, sometimes I'm completely exhausted just going over and over and over stuff with guys. But that's the fun part to me is teaching the game.
That's great, Coach. And thanks again. This was our second edition of the Coach Brandon Derrick Coaches Show here. For the Frederica Academy Knights at Catch 228 on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Come out to Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's and join us every Thursday night. We will be here next week at 6:30, I believe. Yes. And for the Coach Brandon Derrick Show. And for Frederica Academy, Coach Derrick, I'm John Wetzler on the Bishop Media Sports Network, signing off.